My disability didn't look real enough, so an employee tried to expose me. I was 18 when this happened, though most people thought I looked closer to 15 because of my baby face and acne. On top of that, I live with POTS and permanent nerve damage in my legs. Standing or walking for long stretches is painful, exhausting, and sometimes dangerous if I faint or lose balance. That's why I use mobility carts whenever I'm at big stores like Walmart. That day, my dad came along to help me grocery shop. We walked in together, and I spotted 3 mobility carts lined up against the wall. He told me he was going to the bathroom first, so I climbed into one of the carts and waited by the entrance. While I was waiting, a store employee walked up and asked if I was waiting for someone. I said yes, that I was waiting for my dad. At the time, I didn't think much of the question, but looking back, I realized she was already suspicious of me using the cart. My dad returned, and we started rolling toward the aisles. We hadn't even made it 10 feet when the same employee shouted at me across the store, "Ma'am, that cart is for handicapped people only." I froze, people were staring, and I could feel my cheeks burning. I stammered out, "I know, I am handicapped." She stormed closer and snapped, "You walked in here, didn't you? You can walk around the store." I told her that my medical history wasn't her business, but I assured her I was disabled. Instead of dropping it, she walked right up, reached over, turned off my cart, and tried to yank me out of it. My dad immediately stepped between us. His voice was sharp, angrier than I'd ever heard in public. "What the hell do you think you're doing? My daughter told you she's disabled. Are you planning on interrogating every single person who uses these carts about their medical history?" The employee's face turned red, but she dug her heels in. "She's too young to be disabled. She's just being lazy." By now, a small crowd had gathered, whispering and staring. I was mortified, but my dad looked ready to throw punches. That's when store security showed up. He asked what was going on, and before I could even speak, the employee blurted out exactly what happened. She genuinely thought she was in the right. The security guard turned to me and asked if I had proof of disability. I didn't have any paperwork with me, so I carefully got out of the cart. My legs wobbled immediately, one bowing in, the other threatening to give out. That was all the proof he needed. He nodded and said, "That's fine," before walking away. The employee just stood there, looking flustered. Then she muttered, "Well, why didn't you just do that in the first place?" I looked her dead in the eye and told her, "Because I don't need to prove anything to a random stranger with no authority." She didn't have a comeback for that. She just mumbled under her breath and slunk back to her post, clearly embarrassed. My dad and I carried on with our shopping, though I was shaken the entire time. Every aisle we turned down, I worried we'd see her again. But more than anything, I was furious that she thought she could police who looked disabled enough to deserve accommodations. Later that day, I called the corporate number and filed a complaint. I didn't have her name, but I had the time, the store location, and a clear description. I wasn't sure if anything would come of it, but I wanted it on record. After sitting with it for a while, I realized this went beyond a rude employee. She physically tried to pull me out of a medical mobility device. That's assault. So I filed a police report. The officer didn't seem to take it too seriously, but at least there's documentation now. I also contacted the store manager directly. He seemed concerned and promised he would get to the bottom of it and that there would be consequences. I don't know what will ultimately happen to that employee, but I do know this. No disabled person should ever have to justify their existence to a stranger in the middle of a store. Disability doesn't have a look, and thanks to my dad standing his ground, at least that woman was forced to face just how wrong she was.